here what we are doing, what are the steps involved in getting the data from the Excel file is, so first we are going to create the instance, and then we are going to open the workbook, and then we are going to get the worksheet as collection, and then we are going to close the instance. And while getting the data, so here we have seen the difference between these three. So get worksheet as collection, get worksheet as collection fast, offset, and also get worksheet range as collection, and also, I mean, that's all. And these are the four different types of getting the data, and we have seen how they are going to work also, right? Now, apart from that, now is it okay if I put everything in a single page, complete flow in a single page? So let me show you a document now, where we talk about the development best practices. E-drive will be help for BluePrism development. We'll be following some best practices also here. So according to the best practices, so if you see here, they are talking about object layer best practices. So for object layer best practices also, you can see we have split the actions into multiple stages. Yes or no? Launch in separate action page, login in separate action page, main menu in separate action page, likewise log out, get customer details. This is one ERP system. Okay, like how you have created one e-commerce system, e-commerce platform, you developed one e-commerce platform, remember? Similarly, if there is application something called as ERP, there is application called as ERP. In this ERP, they have different actions which can be performed. So one is update customer, create codes, create orders, get order history, likewise. Okay, so for this ERP model, what they have done, they have single application modeler. In the application modeler, they have defined all, they captured all the required elements, and the action stages are different here. Okay, different action stages. So each action you have put it into separate action page, and then we have account details. Okay, not about that. Forget about that. Let us go back to process. I will talk about process. Yeah, we'll discuss about the object best practices also. So coming to the process, if you see, so bad practice. What is a bad practice? What are we not supposed to do? So if you see here on the right side, in the main page of the first attempt at creating the process, it needs improvement because there is just one large difficult flow to read the page. Okay, so this is the complete flow. They have put everything in a single page, in the main page only. Okay, the look and feel of my process is bespoke to me. This will make it difficult for others to support. So if someone else is planning to do some enhancement on this automation, will they be able to identify where exactly what is happening and all? It will be difficult for them to analyze what exactly is happening in which stage. Okay, there is no proper exception handling also. Nowhere they have handled the exceptions. Okay, if a minor issue occurs in a system, the process will terminate. If this in whole page anywhere, if any of the stage is going to fail, immediately it will not execute the remaining stages and it is going to end. Okay, so for that reason, what they are suggesting us, they're suggesting us to have a simple main page, and create sub pages. So how are we going to create the sub pages? So instead of defining everything in the single main page, what we can do here is we can cut this piece of flow where we are creating the instance, opening the workbook, getting the data from the collection, and closing the instance. We can cut it, and we are going to create a new page and name the page as get Excel data. We are going to name the page as get Excel data. Here, let us paste the flow. Okay. Now, in this page, we are having the code to get the data from the Excel file. In this page, we have the code to get the data from the Excel file. Link all the stages here. Link all the stages here. Now come back to the main page. In the main page, what we do here is, now we are supposed to use that code, right? First, we need to get the data. So if we don't get the data, see what is going to happen basically. That's just a second. Guys, please try to adjust yourself. Okay, there is a lot of noise from outside. I can't help with that. Okay, so try to adjust. Okay, yeah. So what we have done, we have created a new page, get Excel data. In that, we have moved the complete flow, which is related to getting the data from the Excel file. Create instance, opening the workbook, get worksheet as collection, close the instance. Now we moved everything to this get Excel data. So now, if I link from start to these stages which are available in the main page, and if I start this, if I start my process, every time the process will start from the main page only. Okay. If you want to utilize the code which is available here, what are we supposed to do is, we are supposed to use the page stage and refer that. If we don't use this page stage, we won't be able to execute this get Excel data at all. Okay. It will simply, when you start the process, it will simply execute main page alone. Whatever the code is present inside the main page, it will execute only that code. Okay. Because all the other pages, right, which we are going to create here, they should be referred into the main page only. Main page is the only page which process is going to execute. Okay. And all other pages needs to be referred here. Create a reference to an existing page, and we'll be getting, when you drag and drop this page stage, we'll be getting three options here. Create a reference to an existing page, add a new page and create a reference to it, add a new page without creating a reference to it. So what is the difference between these three? You can directly, by reading the name itself, you can understand. So create a reference to an existing page. If a page is already available, this will create a reference to that. Okay. Add a page and create a reference. If there is no page available, then you can choose this. Now this is going to create a new page for you, and it will be referred in this page stage. Now this will add a new page without reference. Okay. So referring in the sense, what do you mean by reference? So when I choose this first option, because my page is already available, I just need to refer it here, create a reference to an existing page, click on next, choose the page, finish. Now you can see get Excel data page is referred in the main page. Now click OK. Okay. Now move all the values to all these data items are related to this page only, right? The flow present in this page. So we are going to move everything to this page. Okay, all these data items we are going to move to this page. Clear? Now coming back to the main page, reset the flow, link the start stage to get Excel data to Centric Data Solution launch. Now similarly here also, what we can do is, before we go ahead and execute, right? First let's execute and see what is going to happen now. Now you can see the data is present in the collection is present in this page. So when I start running the application, you can see it is going to first create the instance, opens the workbook, now we got the data here, right? Now we are supposed to create the orders using this data. Using this data, we are supposed to create the orders. Okay, but this collection is in some other page. I can't utilize this collection, so I will open this collection. I will expose this collection. And also I'll come back to my main page. I will check if I am able to send the inputs to this action or not, because this is the action where we are going to enter the order details. Okay, so if you want to send this data to the application, we need to pass the inputs to this action. So how are we going to define the inputs here? So we have already seen how to define the inputs. View action in the object studio. In the object level, we are now going to make some changes. Instead of having the username and password defined in the object level, we are now going to remove them in the object level, but we will have this data items here because we need to store it from the start stage to staff number and password. So we will leave them like that and go to choose option. Here also option number, I just remove all the initial values here so that anyone can use our collection, okay, or data items or whatever it may be. Remove, and now I'll make it as single row collection, and you can see the data is empty. Now I am going to define inputs in the start stage. I'm going to define inputs here so that I will be able to pass username and password from the process studio. What is the first thing? Staff number. Next is password. We have already seen this concept, right? Inputs and outputs. I have explained you. If you don't remember, please go back to the video and just take a look at it. You can recall that, okay? Username for application. Just mentioning the description. What is that for? The input is for. Enter password for CDS application. Okay. Now click OK. And then we have similarly in orders and choose option also, we are going to define one input here. Option value. I'll tell you how this is going to help us. Option value, you can make it as number data type and store it in option number. And then we have enter order details. To enter all order details, what are all the inputs we require? What are all the inputs we require here? So we will provide the name of the inputs. Input name is product code. Product code. Unit price. Customer account number. Quantity. And then we have priority order. And then we have what are all the inputs we are getting? Yeah, that's all. These are the only inputs which you are going to get. Okay. So everything is going to be text. I'll explain you why every field will be text now. So yesterday also we came across this scenario where I have mentioned every field as text, although quantity and unit price are numeric values, still I have mentioned it as text. Now, once I get the values from the process studio, where am I supposed to store it? I will be storing it in the local collection. This is our local collection, local variable, local collection. So product code into input data dot product code, unit price into input data dot unit price, for customer account number into input data dot customer account number, quantity into quantity, priority order into priority order. Okay, so these are the start parameters here. Now, and we also need to define one output here because reference number will be our output. Okay, so we are supposed to get the reference number as output. Reference number. Okay, text, and we are going to get the value from reference number data item. So we'll be storing the, once you read the value, right, reference number value, where are we storing it? We are storing it in this data item. From there I'm going to get it to end stage. From end stage I will be able to get it to the process studio. Save the object, define required inputs and outputs. Okay. Now close that. Now let us refresh the page. Let us refresh the page and see if we have got the inputs here. Staff number, password to log in. To choose the option value, and to create the order, we have inputs to provide for product code, unit price, customer account number, quantity, and priority order. Okay. Now what we do? First of all, let us take another data items here, and we name it as staff number, password. Here I will define the values. Now we are not passing the values from Object Studio. We are supposed to pass every value from Process Studio only. All the values in the Object Studio must be empty. Why? Why? Because it can be reused by anyone else. If someone else wants to retrieve the order details, okay. So in my application, in our Centrix Data Solution application, we have 4 different actions which we can perform here. We have 4 different actions which we can perform here. What are they? One is creating new order, retrieve order, view all orders, view orders by date. Now we have 2 developers who are developing this. So let's say every user will be having his own credentials for this particular application, right? Now when I use this application, I will enter my credentials. When someone else is using this credential, they will enter their own credentials. So for that reason, and whereas coming to the object, right, when we come to the object will be same for both the developers. So one developer will be allocated with create the process for creating new order. One developer should develop a process where it will be able to create new order. Another developer should create a process to retrieve the order. So both the developers should be able to launch the application, right? For that reason, what we do, we will build an object in such a way that we put everything in its individual action pages here, and we define the login page, and we will leave the staff number and password values empty, and we declare them in the start parameter. We declare it under start parameters because you can pass any value from any process. Okay. Now let's say, for example, we have developer 2 who is working on another process, and he wants to log in into the application. Now if he is going to choose our object, if he is going to choose Windows App Centric login page, now here he will be able to pass his own credentials. Okay, he will be able to pass his own credentials. Understood? That is the reason we are not going to hard code any value in the object studio. Every value must be passed from the process studio only. So we have two different processes. In both the processes we can use same object. So that is the main reason why we are creating the object into multiple action pages, why we are splitting it into multiple action pages, and also we are defining the inputs and outputs, not hard coding any values in the object level. Okay. Understood, guys? Now, if I want to log in, let's say BP and username is one password, username and password. Here I will take another username and password. I will log in with another username and password into this Centric Data Solution application. Now, anyone can use our object now. Any person can use our object because we did not keep any restrictions on the object. You can pass your own username and password. You can pass your own option. You can choose your own option. Option number also we have declared in the start stage, so that you can choose your own option to perform any action out of this 4. Okay. Similarly, you can enter the details, whatever the details you want. Clear? Now let us come back to this. Same way, here in the login action, for login action, I am going to pass staff number as an input and also password as an input, so that it will be able to log in into the application. Now choose option. While choosing the option also, I will define one more data item here. I will take one data item. What is the data item? I will say create order option. For creating the order, what will be my option? That is number 1. Okay. Now I will pass this data item into number into option value. What is the option we are supposed to choose? Number 1. Now we will get into next action where we are supposed to enter the details, order details. Now where do we have the order details? We are having the order details in product data collection. Okay. Now let us go to this product data collection. Let us run the flow once. Now we are going to get the data inside this product data collection. So here we have this product data collection. Okay. This is the collection. Now, and observe this, we don't have any field names defined here. Yes or no? Did you observe that? So basically, so far you have created some collections, right? Here for employee assignment and all, and for adding numbers and all, you have created some collections over there, right? In every collection, you have defined the fields. Yes, sir. And how do you refer the values from the collection? How do you use the values which are present inside the collection? If you want to use the values inside the collection, what is the syntax? What is the syntax? So if you want to get the value from product data, what is the syntax? No one knows. collection name dot field name. Product data dot product data dot. Let us see what are the field names we have here. We need to give proper field names, otherwise it will throw error. Product code, unit price, customer account number, quantity, and priority order. Okay, let's come back to the main page. Go to this. So the syntax will be like this: product data dot, inside the square brackets itself you need to mention product code. Similarly, all the fields will be in product data collection only, and only thing we need to define is dot unit price, close the square brackets, dot customer account number. See, name and the field name, it's not mandatory that they both should be same. Okay, this name, I'm talking about this name and the field name which you are going to enter here, it's not mandatory that they both needs to be same. Okay, remember that. Dot quantity, and then we have priority order. Okay, dot priority order. Are we good so far? Okay, now outputs. Now we are going to get the output, and we're not supposed to store the output. We are again supposed to store the output in the same collection, right? So which we have here, we have the collection here, and the collection also contains the field reference number. Collection also contains a field reference number. Now we are going to update the value into reference number column. So here, product data dot reference number. Clear? So now click OK, reset, and see if we have any errors here. Now what I do, I will bring this collection into main page, because our complete flow is in the main page itself, right? I'll cut it from here, I'll put it in the main page. So you no need to worry, because we have unchecked this checkbox, hide from other pages in the process. So we have already exposed the collection, so the collection can be utilized in all the pages in the process. Okay, now if you want to work on the records present inside the collection, what are we supposed to do? If you want to process the records inside the collection, which stage will help us to process the records inside the collection? Loop stage. So let us drag and drop a loop stage. Open the loop stage. Choose the collection. What is our collection? Product data. Loop product data. Okay. Clear? Now, where am I supposed to start the loop? When am I supposed to exactly start the loop? After launch, login, and then after clicking on orders, now I am supposed to start the loop. Not after choose option, okay? Not after choose option. Don't get confused. Not after choose option. I told you here, right, clearly in the requirement document, from which step you are supposed to repeat. Go back to your requirement document if you get confused, okay? So repeat step 3, 4, and 5. What is the step 3? What is there in step 3? What is step 3? Step 3 is you enter the option and you click on go. Why? Because if you go ahead and create an order for the first record, if if you go ahead and create order for the first record, see right now where I am in the choose option page, right? Order menu page, where I am going to click one and click on go. I am entering the one, click on go. This is where we are going to choose the option. After that, we are going to create the order here. Yes or no? We are going to create the order here. Now enter the customer account number and click on submit. Once you submit and read the reference number and you click on OK button, immediately what is going to happen? See, observe what is going to happen. Where we navigated back, we have navigated back to order menu page. Yes or no? Now what are we supposed to do? Again, we have to enter one and click on go. Likewise, we have to repeat for all the steps. So what are all the steps needs to be repeated for all the records? What are all the steps here in the process level? Choosing the option and creating the order, getting the reference number. Okay. Now loop into this stage. So let me reduce the size of this is too big. We do something here. Let me make it 10. Okay, now this is the flow. Now let us run this and see step by step. We'll go step by step. Okay, each step. For two records, I will navigate through each and every step here and then I will continue. Okay, now remove the breakpoint, set this as your next stage. At any stage, if you want to debug, you can set that as your next stage and you can start debugging. Okay. Now step over. Now once you click on step over, it will execute the whole stage and it will come to the next step. Okay, and if you click on step, it will go inside that page and we can do step by step. Okay, now just see what is going to happen. I'm going to click on step. It is going inside the page. Now when I click on step over, see what is going to happen. I'm going to click on step over. It will directly execute this complete action. It is creating the instance here, right? Now if I click on step for the next stage, it is going to step into the object because we are calling the object here, right? We are referring the object here. See, it has stepped into the object. Which object? Excel VBO. Now here it is going to execute everything. It is going to open the workbook. It is going to execute this complete flow. Now we are going to comment. Okay, this is how it's going to open the workbook. That is the difference between step over and step. If you click on step over, it will execute the whole action in a single go. If you do step, it will go inside the object and will execute step by step. Okay, closing the instance and check. We have got the data inside the product data collection. We have the data here. Okay, now let us go ahead and launch the application. I'm not going to do step here. I will do step over first. We are now launching the application. Another instance. Let us close another instance. Okay, now let us go to next step. What happened? There is some error. 1 second. I think the value I entered here is incorrect. This is password. Click OK. Here. Now let us go step by step now. Set as next stage. I'll get the data here first. Get Excel data. I'm executing the whole stage in a single row. You can see we got the data here. Now we are going to launch the application. Now see here, we are going to step into the application. We have mentioned the staff number and password here, right? You can see the staff number and password value. We are sending them as an input to this action step. You can see when I execute step over, you can see the inputs are coming from Process Studio to Object Studio. Okay. Now we are going to activate the application here and enter the staff number and password from the object level. Object is able to enter the staff number and password. Now it is going to click on button login and now it is able to log in. Okay. So likewise, we are going to perform each and every step here. Now we are supposed to click on orders tab. See, it is clicked on orders tab and we are able to navigate to orders menu page. So now it is picking up the first record. We are going to start the loop. It is picking up the first record. What is the option value we are choosing? Option 1. Okay. Now when you execute this stage, it is now going to enter option 1 and click on go. Now which page we are in? New order page. Okay. Now once you step in here, sorry guys, you can see initially this data will not have any values. So once you step, all the data which is present in the start stage will be now coming into this input data, this collection. See, now you have current row defined here, customer account number, product code, unit price, quantity, priority order, everything. Now it will be able to enter the data here, select the quantity value, checking the priority order if it is true or false. Since it is true, it is going to click on the check box, and then we are going to continue to click on submit. Now we are going to read the reference number here. See, we got the reference number. Okay. Now we are going to read the reference number, and the reference number value will be available in this data item. In the read stage, we are storing it in this data item. Now from here, after closing this pop-up, we are sending it to end stage. Okay. Now when this end stage gets executed, you can see the reference number now will be stored in product data collection under reference number column. For the first record, you can see here is the reference number value. Did you get the value here? Yes or no? So likewise, you continue for the second record also. See, now it is going to continue from here, choosing the option number. Now we are not going to start from first again. We will simply continue with the remaining steps. For the remaining records, we are going to continue with the same steps, choosing the option number and creating the order. While creating the order, it will enter the data and will submit. You will get the reference number also automatically. Okay. Now take a look at the collection. If you have reference number for second record, yes, you got the value for second record also, right? Second record reference number. Likewise, when you continue, it is going to create reference numbers for all the records. Let me say continue. You can see how it is going to work. See, we can likewise we can execute n number of records here. Okay, likewise we can execute n number of records here. So once we are going to complete all the records, right? If there are no more records in the collection, then it will go to end. Okay. No more records left, and that's all. We came to end. Now check this current values here. So are we able to get the reference numbers for all the records? See, yes or no? Hmm? Now this is how we will be able to process all the records inside the Excel file. Okay. Any questions? You have any questions, guys? Anyone have any questions so far? So what we have done? Any confusion? Any doubts? Please let me know. If you have any confusion, any doubts, please let me know. Ping in the chat. Okay. So no one have any queries. Let me see. Choose option and enter data. Okay. No other queries. Okay, fine. Now, how we have defined this get Excel data in a separate page. Similarly, we can also go ahead and remove this piece of code and put it in a separate page. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut it, create a new page, and name the page as create new order. Okay, I'm going to name the page as create new order. In this, I'm going to paste the code. Okay, and don't forget to export the data items if you are changing them. You are changing the pages and all, right? Don't forget to expose the data items all the time. Okay. And now in the main page, instead of having those two actions, I am going to refer the page. I'm going to refer the page. Get Excel data, create new order, finish. Okay. And similarly, let us go ahead and remove launch and login also. Control X. Create a new page here. We said main page. Name it as startup application. Okay. So this is the page where we are going to launch and log in into the application. I'll tell you why we are splitting into multiple pages here, sub pages, because I have already shown you the best practices methods where we are going to split the main flow into multiple sub pages and refer them into main page. Okay. So by doing that, we can do proper exception handling in each and every page. Startup application, finish. Link all of them. Okay. Now, don't forget to expose these staff number and password values, data items. We are supposed to expose them. Okay. Are we good so far? So this is our actual flow. Is that clear? So we are going to have a start stage, and then we're going to get the Excel file. By looking at it itself, you will be able to understand what exactly is happening in this whole page. Get Excel data, start the application, go to orders, and then start creating the new order on the data which we are going to get from the Excel file. Okay. Now, let me introduce you to one more concept here. Now, I'm going to introduce you guys to one more concept. It is called as environment variables. The concept is environment variables. Why environment variables and how they are going to be helpful for us? Okay. So basically, you know, right, when you declare a variable as public, what is going to happen? When you declare a variable as public, you can use that variable across all the classes in that namespace, right? Now, similarly, if I want to use a variable in all the processes, so whatever the process I am going to create, I want to use that variable. In that case, we are going to define it as environment variable in BluePrism. And in future, if you think that the value of that variable might change and you want to change the value every time before you start the process, in that case also, you can define that variable as environment variable. So let's say, for example, I have my Excel file path here. So this file path, I can't say that this file path will be static all the time. The file path might change sometimes. Okay. So let's say, for example, someone else is automating this. They might be having their own Excel file path. Okay. So every time we are not allowed to open the code and do the changes in the code. Okay. So let's say if our bot is moved into production, if our solution is moved into production, in production we will not have access to code and all. They won't allow us to do changes in the code. So without touching the code, if we want to update values inside these variables, all such variables must be defined under environment variables. So where can we define them? So instead of defining the value here, what I do, I will go to the system tab. Inside the system tab, we have environment variables where you are going to add a new variable and name it as CDS Excel file. Okay, CDS Excel file. Go to system tab. Under process you will be able to see environment variables, and under objects also you will be able to see environment variables, which means that if you declare environment variable under process or object, you can utilize in both the places. You can use this environment variable in object, you can use that environment variable in process also. Okay, and make it as text. Input file path. What is this? This is our input file path, and click on apply. And you click on environment variables, you can see the value is here. Under objects also, same value will be available under process also. You can utilize it in both objects and process, both the places. Once you click on apply, now come back to your process studio, open this data item, okay. Now instead of defining the path here, what we do, go to this exposure. Under exposure, choose the one second. Before that, let us refresh the page. Don't forget to refresh the page. If you change anything outside the process studio in BluePrism main window or in the object or any place, don't forget to refresh the process. After refreshing the process, open this and choose the exposure as environment. What is that? Environment. Read the corresponding environment variable from system manager. This is going to read the value from the system manager. Select it, and now you can see the drop down. In the drop down, you will be able to see, you will no more be able to define the name here. The name whatever is present in the system manager, you will get that name here, CDS Excel file. Okay, now you can see the value. You got the value automatically here. Yes or no? You won't be able to reset this value anymore. If you want to change the value of this, you have to change it from system tab only. System tab only. You won't be able to do any changes in the code anymore. Okay. And while opening the workbook also, instead of this data item, now we are supposed to pass this CDS Excel file. Okay. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so that is the purpose of environment variable. That is the purpose of environment variable. Okay, likewise, any value if you want to change, you can do it. I mean, any values which will keep changing in future, and if you want to input the new values all the time, such variables can be declared under environment variables. So first of all, you need to do what you need to do. Go to system tab here. Go to system tab. In the system tab, first of all, you need to go for environment variables. Select this environment variable to the left side and click on add variable and add the variable which needs to be updated here. Okay. So, and once you add that variable here, then you will be able to use that in the process. So come back to the process. Take a data item, open the data item, choose the exposure as environment. You'll get all the list of environment variables here. You select that and you can utilize that. Clear? This is how we are going to use our environment variable concept here. Any questions? Okay, so guys, requesting you guys to practice till here. We'll continue tomorrow. Already you are overloaded today, so practice it till here. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay.